Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to go ahead and replace the battery on the 370Z. The reason I know that something is wrong with the battery is because when I was driving the car, it was kind of shutting off. Like it wouldn't completely stall, it would like kind of shut off for like a second and then come back up. So I'll throw in a clip in a few minutes of what I was actually looking at and what was going on. The voltage meter that you have on your 3 gauges, it went down for 1 second and then it went right back up, and the car would like hesitate and it didn't really want to like move. So I'll show you guys in a bit what that actually looks like. I'll throw in a clip right now. So right now, if you look at these gauges, you have a total of 3. That one that tells you the time, your voltage, and then you have your oil temps. This gauge right here, when I would come to a stop, sometimes it did not happen all the time. It was every like once in a while. This gauge would drop down all the way to 12 for like a second, and then it would go right back up to a 14. And you would feel like the car would want to shut off and then it would just start back up. Now after looking at those gauges, it doesn't tell you 100% if it's the battery. It's just kind of like an estimate of what's going on, because if the voltage is going down, that means it has to be something electrical. Now that can also include like the alternator, the battery, something else along those lines, or maybe it could be just a loose ground or a loose wire that you have plugged into your battery. So those are a few things that you can look at, but the only way you can actually check to see if it's your battery or your alternator, and the best way is actually taking it to AutoZone. So we have an auto parts store here called AutoZone where you can take your battery. You can take it in person, like just take the battery, or you can actually take your car to them and they can test your battery for you for free. They don't charge you anything, they just check it for you, and then they'll give you options on what you can do or what's actually wrong. They have a little machine that they plug into it, and then it scans it and it tells them exactly what's wrong, if it's the battery, if it's bad, or if it's an alternator. So if you guys want to get it checked out, I would highly recommend doing that. Like I said, it's completely free. You guys don't have to really do anything. You can try to diagnose it yourself, but it's a lot easier if you just take it to them. You can just buy your battery and then you're good, you can move on. So that's what I actually did. I picked up my battery already. I think mine was like $220, and then it's a core charge of like $20, so I can just take my battery back and then I'll get $20 back in my pocket. So that's pretty cool. I was looking around everywhere and it was actually a pretty good price, because online I was looking at some of the batteries and I think they were like over $250, somewhere around that range. So if you can, just look around to see where you can find the best battery for your car. But AutoZone had a pretty good deal, so I might as well pick it up there. But let me go ahead and show you the battery, how you can actually replace it. Alright, so here's the battery. It's completely new, 721. And then you have your positive, negative. And then we're going to be replacing the old one. I believe this battery is like 5 years old. I'm not sure if you guys can really see it, but it says 1016. So it's like 5 years old. We're going to go ahead and replace this one and put in a new one. To replace the battery, you need to remove this cover right here. So you first remove this one that goes right here on the top. Push these clips to open it. Put that to the side, and then you have a bunch of pop clips that you need to remove. You can use a flathead, or you could even use your nails, just like that. Pop it up. And then this thing will completely come off, just like that. And then you also have to remove this one on the end over here. This one is held in by some clips right here on the sides. And then you're gonna go ahead and pop it up. And pop it up just like that. Move it to the side. And now you have access to your battery completely. So here you can see, this is from 10/20/16. It's a really old battery, never changed it out. Now we have to go ahead and remove this bracket right here. I believe these are 10 mils. If not, it might be a little bit smaller. But for sure, these right here should be 10 mils on the side in order to remove the battery terminals. So make sure your car is completely off. Make sure it's not on. Take off the battery terminals and you can go ahead and remove it. Alright, there you guys go. I did clean down the engine bay a little bit just because it was really filthy. looks a lot better. I still need to get to a few places like down there, clean it up a little bit more, but I'll do that later on. I do have a show coming up, so I might as well clean it at that point once it gets closer to then. But here's how it sits. Everything's back in place. Have a new battery in there. Everything's installed. If you want to check to make sure that it's actually working, which it should if it's a brand new battery, you can go ahead and click on your controller to lock it and then unlock it. If it works, then everything's fine. Now, one thing I will tell you is that when you install a new battery, a lot of your settings and your radio stations will reset, so you do have to put those back. One common one that might bother you is going to be the window. Alright, so once you get in your car, one thing you will notice is that the windows will not go all the way up now when you click it. So see, it doesn't want to go all the way up like it used to. It'll still go down, but it won't go all the way up. And also when you open the door, it'll crack open just a little bit like that every single time. So in order to fix that, you're going to go close to about right there. You're going to leave it like that, and then you're going to go ahead, push all the way up, don't let go, leave it there for about 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5, let go. Now push it down and push it up. There you go. See, now it's working, and that fixes that. You will have to do the same thing for the other side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push it down. There you go. Now that's fixed. And then everything else, I believe your clock will reset. And so will your radio stations. Alright guys, so a little bit of an update. I did drive the car around to see exactly what was going on, to see if it kept having that issue, and it actually did. So what I did now is I went ahead and took off the intakes to see if they were dirty, because I did look at a few videos, or I saw a few reviews on the web where they were saying that it could be your mass airflow sensors that are dirty or your intakes. So I checked those out, and I have still in Gen 2s, so it has a cover over the intake, so I can't really see it to see if it's dirty or anything. And when I took that cover off, the intakes were like completely filthy. They were covered in gunk, and it has to do with because I don't have my mud flaps, the ones that go on the inside to cover up the wheel well. I took those off because my air suspension, it goes all the way to the floor, and sometimes it hits it. Got all the gunk in there because I removed them, so it's gonna allow a lot more dirt in there. I guess that makes sense, because if the intakes can't suck in enough air because they're super dirty and it's clogging it up, I guess that would make sense on why I would want to bog, because the system is pretty much built to be able to read a certain amount of air that's going into the car. It doesn't have enough air going in because it's so dirty. So what I did instead is I went ahead and cleaned the intakes. They're super easy to take off. It's not very difficult. I wish I would have recorded it for you guys, but I was getting super frustrated, and I just wanted to take it off like as soon as possible to get it cleaned up. I use this right here, which is a K&N air filter cleaner. You can purchase this at AutoZone. It's like 20 bucks. It's not a lot. And it has an oil as well for you to be able to put it in there. That way it like cleans it up, makes it look red again. If you do have K&N, I actually just cleaned it and I didn't put any oil in there, and it's running perfectly fine. Now, I guess that makes sense on why I would do that, since they were so dirty. It was pretty much clogging up the filters. But that fixed my issue. It wasn't the battery, but the battery was bad, because when I went to AutoZone, they said that it needed to be replaced, which I agree with, because the battery's like 5 years old. I think a battery can last you about 5 to 6 years until you need to replace it. So this one did last me a very long time, and I know it was going out as well, because if I would leave the car on, like the lights on for a little bit, and I would forget to turn them off, the car would like not want to start after a few minutes. So I knew that the battery was bad as well, just by that fact. But updates on everything else, the bumper for the 370Z on the rear is getting painted right now, so I should be getting that really soon, making a video. I am replacing the serpentine belt on the 370Z, so that's going to be in my next video as well. There's a few things coming along, and I am going to try to do something to the 370Z that's going to be really crazy. I've seen it on Instagram. It's super dope. It's kind of something like from Fast and the Furious in the old days, like the first videos that used to come out. So maybe some of you guys can guess what it is, but I'm gonna order it soon. I think it's pretty interesting. It's gonna look super dope, but it's gonna be something that's gonna be coming to the 370Z as well. But that's gonna conclude the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.